Next up at UFC 301, we have Jonathan Martinez taking on the King of Rio, Jose Aldo, back at home in Rio, making a comeback after 2 years away. He was gone for 2 full years, and he is back in the co-main event in his hometown to live up to his nickname of the King of Rio. I mentioned this before. I personally think he is the greatest featherweight of all time. I think he's better than Alexander Volkanovski. It's certainly debatable. I think Alexander Volkanovski had more title defenses, but I think Jose is just the better fighter.
And you know that
WEC
it's
champ.
because of...
No. I know what you're doing. You're not doing it. The WEC champion, moved over to the UFC, defended his belt multiple times, lost the belt, went down to 135 and competed there as well. He is back. And he's taking on Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez is 19-4 overall. He is 5-0 in his last 5, riding a 6-fight win streak. I mentioned Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo coming back after a few years away, 3-2 in his last 5. 3-2 in his last 5, coming off that loss multiple years ago to Merab Davishvili. Jonathan Martinez, actually, let me break down Jose Aldo first, because then people like to say Jonathan Martinez is the new version of Jose Aldo. Jose Aldo, I mentioned, I think the greatest 145-pounder of all time. He's a nasty striker with very good jiu-jitsu and literally the best takedown defense in the history of the UFC. Nobody has better takedown defense than Jose Aldo. Nobody. Greatest takedown defense of all time. And he uses that takedown defense to keep fights standing. He has power in his hands. He's a good, accurate, technical striker. And he used to be a low kick savage. I will never forget. I have been watching UFC since literally day one. I watched WEC as well. And I will never forget when Jose Aldo, I know it's Jose, I just can't not do it. When Jose Aldo finished Uriah Faber with leg kicks. Multiple fights with just chopping. It was our first introduction to how devastating pure leg kicks could be. And people are making that comparison to Jonathan Martinez. Jonathan Martinez just finished Adrian Yanez with leg kicks. But that was more of an anomaly than the norm. Jonathan Martinez is not a nonstop leg kick guy, but he is very good. He is very well-rounded. He is technical. He's got slick BJJ. He's got that moist, high striking style with those nice kicks that he'll use for range control. He doesn't wrestle very often, but when he does have some slick submissions on the ground that he can snatch up in scrambles. The reality is I am going to go ahead and pick Jonathan Martinez here. But Jose Aldo, I'll be rooting for him. I'll be cheering for him. I hope he wins this fight. But he's going to be gone for 2 years. He is well over 40 years old. I've talked about this on this channel many, many times over. Jose Aldo is listed at 37, I believe. But he is a favela guy. He grew up in the favelas. And it came time to get paperwork. There was no paperwork. So it came time to get a passport, whatever it was. And he didn't have a birth certificate. So how old are you? He went to the town hall or whatever it was. I need a birth certificate. And they're like, well, how old are you? And he just said a number. He made up a date and a number. And that's what he has been forever since that day. He is significantly older. This is confirmed real information. You can find it on the internet. I also heard it from somebody who is personal friends with him. The reality is he's a little too old. He's too inactive. He hasn't fought in the UFC for 2 years. He did have 3 boxing matches. 2 of them were wins against guys that are winless, and one of them was a draw against Jeremy Stevens. Jose Aldo is one of the best of all time. I would love nothing more for him to win here. I just don't think he is. I think we're finally going to see him being old. That 2-year layoff is that's 10 years. 2 years off at that age to come back, that's 10 years of aging. He's finally going to look a little older. He's in the Hall of Fame. He's accomplished everything. I think he's training his ass off. I think he wants to win, but I think he's coming back because it's Rio and he's the King of Rio. Jonathan Martinez is going to be the pick for all those reasons, even though Jose is the GOAT and skill-wise the better fighter, but age matters. What do you think, Jakey boy?
I believe one of the sneaky bets here that I was thinking about as you were talking, because yes or no, do you think Jonathan Martinez finishes Jose Aldo?
No.
I agree. I don't think he's going to finish Jose Aldo. I believe that Aldo is going to look good in the first round. I truly believe that he is going to be looking good in the first round with pressure with the boxing until Jonathan Martinez really kind of figures out the range, and Aldo will slow down a little bit after that adrenaline dump, right? He knows it's his last fight probably. I mean, he said, like, we'll see how it goes, which is not like a very confident thing, right? He should be saying, like, I'm back, I'm going to win, I'm going to do this or that, but he's like, we'll see how it goes, and I got some boxing stuff lined up if it doesn't go well. But he's going to be emotional, right? Making that final walk in his mind in Rio. It's going to be probably an adrenaline dump in the first round. And once they get out of the first round, I think Jonathan Martinez, that's where he's going to take over. I think at this point, he probably is the better, cleaner, more dynamic striker. He's going to keep the range with the kicks, touch Aldo as he's entering. It's probably going to be a close fight. You know, there could be one of these situations where, you know, Jonathan Martinez wins a decision and people are like, I think Aldo won that fight. There might be something like that, but I think the bet here could be, and BetOnline offers it, is that Jose Aldo wins the first round. And that's all he needs to do. And it's probably going to be plus money, right? Plus 120. And as long as he wins the first round and then doesn't get finished, you win that bet. BetOnline offers something like that. That's how I would play it. I think he's going to win the first round. And then Martinez is just going to kind of figure him out, keep the range, and win the second and third round. So that's how I see it going. I think John Martinez is going to win this fight.
Yeah, and this omnipolar dude, I think you've missed the entire point that I made. I don't think you're listening. He said he looks old because his face was burnt as a kid. Oh, Angelo. Who the hell is talking about his looks? He's literally old. And I explained how he's literally old. I'm not talking about his looks. He could look like he's 16. That's not the point. And I do have the ages switched up on the screen here, which is annoying, is I took the time to redo the graphics, to fix the graphics for this one because I had the ages wrong and then I forgot to put it in this presentation. But either way, Jose Aldo is an all-timer. I'll be rooting for him. I think you'll be rooting for him as well.
I'll be rooting for Jonathan Martinez.
Yeah, I guess you don't have that same level of loyalty that I do. I watched him, that
I've barely seen him win a fight. That's like Ronda. I never watched Ronda win a single fight.
Well, because the first time you ever saw her fight was get knocked out by Holly Holm. Then she took like a year or two off just to get finished by Amanda Nunes and then retire.
One of the most dominant people of the sport. I never watched her win a fight.
Yeah. Well, there's 4 generations of MMA, of UFC fans, not just MMA, of UFC fans. There's been watching since day one, the spectacle fans, when the UFC was a spectacle.
That's you.
300-pound men. That's me, day one.
VHSs.
Then there's the Ultimate Fight. Yes, I have VHS tapes here.
Oh, my God.
I have these 3 tapes
started
right
now,
here.
guys.
I've had these for years. These 3 events. I have like 40 events, but those are the 3 I have right here in my there. Then the second generation are the Ultimate Fighter generation. They showed up after the Forrest Griffin fight, that huge fight. That was the second generation of UFC fans. The third generation are the Conor McGregor fans, which are you. And that's not a bad thing.
No, literally, because I remember when I would see him on sports, because that was when the UFC was, because he was a superstar, was really making that push into like ESPN and on SportsCenter and all this stuff, and he was doing interviews on like regular ESPN. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He seems a lot of fun, and then obviously I met you, but yeah, that's the third fan. Okay,
that's the third generation, and the fourth is the most recent one, are COVID fans. The fourth generation are COVID fans. It was the only sport back, and people started watching.
Agree with that,
yeah. No, I just thought of that right now. Thank you so much.
Good, yeah.
I did just think about that right now. People are starting to
like the stream if you haven't.
They're adding too many layers. The Cheeto Chuck, you can't do it like that because nobody showed up. Nobody showed up for Chuck Tito that wasn't there from much earlier. Obviously, it grows,
but we're talking about chunks of
people.
Yeah,
you got to go by generations. Either way, we're a little off topic there, but as a Gen 1 fan, I'm all in. I want Jose Aldo to win this fight. Nothing. Maybe I am not betting against him. Even if there's smart money there, I don't like to bet against my emotions, if that makes sense. Like sometimes you just want to watch a fight and enjoy it and root for a guy and not have money on it. So I'm not going to have any money on this because I don't think Jose wins, but I want him to win. So I just want to root for him and be happy regardless of the outcome.
Imagine he has a Robbie Lawler moment in Rio.
That would be amazing. Just retires on the spot.
Just out of nowhere.
Now I would love every
Do you think he'd still retire?
Second of that. I don't know, because he only retired after the Merab loss because he was like, well, there goes my title shot. Like I was on my way. Right. I just lost. And I mentioned this in my quick picks. The worst part about that is If Jose Aldo fought Merab, it was the exact same fight, and it was today in Vegas on an Apex card, they might give that decision to Jose Aldo. He defended 16 takedowns. Merab had zero Merab had zero. I think I have it written down.
I think it was 20 or 21.
Yeah, do I have it written down? I don't have it in front of me. He defended he wasn't taken down one time. And it's like, those Vegas judges have some wild decisions with the wrestling. So, are you going to get Jonathan Martinez in your DraftKings lineup?
No.
Yeah, it's so funny because DraftKings has made it hard to draft strikers strikers who aren't going to finish, because unless they're insane volume,
he's going to respect Aldo. I mean, he's going to keep his distance.
He has to.
He's going to point fight. He's going to. It's not like he's going to crack Aldo and then chase him and try to finish him. He's going to play smart.
Joey,
everything okay?
Did you hear him like?
I didn't know. It sounded like something fell. Honestly,
he just coughed. All right, become a premium member. Help support the channel, and in doing so, you will unlock the greatest value in this space. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, you're going to unlock picks, bets, round line leans. It's not just some weird Patreon list. It is a full-blown interactive website with more content than you could absorb in a month. WeWantPicks.com. Click Become a Member. At the top, it is only $10 an entire month. Before you go, let me give you $50. Anybody who goes to WeWantPicks.com/bets and signs up with any one of our affiliate partners gets $50 as a thank you. Use the link, sign up, make a deposit. We send you $50 as a thank you.